Most people do the same few leg exercises over and over again, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it can make your workouts feel stale and leave serious gains on the table. So today, I'm going to share 5 underrated leg exercises that will completely change your body. These aren't random tricks either. These are time-tested movements with scientific support that I personally do every week, and I think you should too. We'll start with one that's fairly uncommon, and then as we go, they'll get more and more obscure. I'd say maybe 10% of you have done exercise 1 at some point, but I'd bet less than 1% of you have ever even seen exercise 5. I think they're all worth doing. The first exercise is a simple way to improve your knee health, build bulletproof legs, increase ankle mobility, and eliminate knee pain for good. It's what I call the kitchen counter ballerina split squat. And if you've never tried this movement before, you need to next time you're at home. This exercise completely changed my knees. I used to have constant aching and clicking going downstairs, but after doing these consistently for a few months, all of that disappeared. Now, for some context, most people do regular split squats or lunges, but they only go down until their front thigh is parallel to the ground. That's fine for building strength, but it doesn't do much for knee health or mobility. The kitchen counter ballerina split squat takes you all the way down so your back knee gently kisses the ground and your front knee travels far forward over your toes. But here's the key difference from regular split squats. You hold onto your kitchen counter for balance support, which allows you to go deeper and focus entirely on the knee strengthening without worrying about falling over. Kitchen counter ballerina split squats can bulletproof your knees by strengthening them through their full range of motion while the counter provides stability. And if your knees feel unstable or you get pain going downstairs, you'll get massive relief from doing these. The scientific evidence is clear. Training your knees through a full range of motion with control actually makes them stronger and more resilient, not more prone to injury like some people fear. First, stand facing your kitchen counter with your hands lightly resting on the edge for balance. Get into a split stance with 1 foot forward and 1 foot back, about 2 to 3 feet apart. Now slowly lower yourself down under control using the counter just for balance, not to pull yourself up or down. Let your back knee gently touch the ground while your front knee travels forward over your toes. Don't be afraid of that knee going past your toes, that's actually the point. The counter support lets you achieve this deep position safely. Then drive through your front foot to stand back up using the counter minimally for balance only. This will feel different at first, especially if you have tight ankles or weak knees. The beauty is the counter removes the balance component, so you can focus entirely on strengthening your knees through their complete range. Start with just your body weight and focus on the depth and control. Once you can do 10 clean reps on each leg, you can progress by using the counter less for balance or eventually holding a dumbbell in one hand while the other hand lightly touches the counter. I usually do these for 8 to 12 reps per leg, and I do them 3 to 4 times per week because they're easy to fit in while I'm in the kitchen. Try it out and see how your knees feel. If you can't go all the way down yet, that's fine. Just go as deep as you can and work on improving your range of motion over time. The counter makes this accessible for everyone, even complete beginners. Within a few weeks, you'll notice your knees feeling stronger and more stable in everything you do. Your ability to go up and down stairs will improve dramatically, and that clicking and grinding will likely disappear. The next exercise takes hamstring strength to a whole new level and fixes the weakness almost nobody even addresses. It's sliding hamstring curls, and they're one of the best movements for hamstring development and knee health. Here's the idea. Your hamstrings have 2 main functions. They bend your knee and they extend your hip. But most hamstring exercises only train one of these functions at a time. Deadlifts and Romanian deadlifts work hip extension but barely bend your knee. Leg curls on a machine bend your knee but don't involve hip extension. Sliding hamstring curls train both functions simultaneously, which is what makes them so effective. With sliding hamstring curls, you're lying on your back with your heels on a sliding surface, and you curl your heels toward your butt while your hips stay elevated. This creates massive tension in your hamstrings through both of their functions. It builds strength, prevents hamstring strains, and creates that hamstring development that makes your legs look complete. And here's the key. Most people have incredibly weak hamstrings relative to their quads, which leads to knee pain, ACL injuries, and muscle imbalances. Sliding hamstring curls fix this problem. Here's what you do. Lie on your back on a smooth surface like hardwood or tile. Place your heels on something that slides easily. You can use furniture sliders, paper plates, towels, or even socks if your floor is slippery enough. Start with your legs straight and your hips lifted off the ground. Your body should form a straight line from your shoulders to your heels. Now, keeping your hips elevated, slide your heels toward your butt by bending your knees. Your hamstrings are doing all the work to pull your heels in. Curl as far as you can, pause at the top with your knees bent and your hips still high, then slowly straighten your legs back out. For technique, the key is keeping your hips elevated throughout the entire movement. Don't let them drop as you curl your heels in or extend back out. Your hamstrings should be burning intensely by the end of each set. If you're not feeling it in your hamstrings, you're probably letting your hips sag. Do 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps, moving slowly and with complete control. The eccentric portion, when you're sliding your legs back out, is where a lot of the muscle building and strength gains happen, so don't rush through it. I usually do these on my lower body days, after my main leg work. And while I don't think this exercise will suddenly make you deadlift 600 pounds, I do think if you're completely missing direct hamstring strengthening that involves knee flexion, you're leaving massive gains in hamstring development and knee health on the table. Now, if you prefer leg curl machines, they'll still work, but add sliding hamstring curls if you want to build strong, resilient hamstrings that can handle both of their functions. Once bodyweight sliding curls become easy, you can progress by elevating your shoulders on a bench or by wearing a weighted vest. You can also do single leg versions where one leg does all the work while the other stays elevated. This progression keeps the exercise challenging for years. Okay, this next exercise I've been doing consistently and I absolutely love it for hamstring and glute development without destroying my lower back. It takes the standard Romanian deadlift and makes it safer and more accessible for people dealing with balance issues or lower back sensitivity. It's the Kickstand or B-stance RDL. Now, I've talked about hip hinge patterns before, but here's the key point. Your hamstrings and glutes are designed to extend your hip powerfully. The problem with traditional bilateral Romanian deadlifts is they require perfect balance and they can load your lower back excessively. That's where the Kickstand RDL comes in. You keep most of your weight on one leg while the other leg lightly touches the ground behind you for balance support. This creates a stable base that lets you hinge deeper and really load your working leg's hamstring and glute without worrying about falling over or rounding your back. New research shows that single leg variations of exercises can build just as much strength as bilateral versions, often with better balance and stability improvements. But I still think it's smart to start light and focus on the hip hinge pattern before adding heavy weight. Set up by standing with most of your weight on your right leg. Your left leg extends behind you with just the toe or ball of your foot lightly touching the ground for balance. You're not putting weight on that back leg, it's just a kickstand for stability. Hold a dumbbell or kettlebell in your left hand, the same side as your kickstand leg. Now hinge at your hips by pushing your butt back and letting your torso come forward. Your working leg, the right leg, should have a slight bend in the knee but stays relatively straight. Lower the weight down your shin, feeling a massive stretch in your hamstring. Once you feel that deep hamstring stretch, usually when the weight is around mid-shin or just below your knee, drive your hips forward by squeezing your glute and hamstring to stand back up. That's 1 rep. The kickstand leg is just there for balance. Your working leg does all the actual work. Do 8 to 12 reps on one side, then switch and do the other side. The Kickstand RDL is incredible for building hamstring and glute strength without the balance challenges of a true single-leg Romanian deadlift, and without the lower back stress of heavy bilateral deadlifts. I've been working up to using a 60-pound dumbbell per hand after doing these consistently for several months, and my hamstrings have never been more developed or resilient. Fair warning though, you will feel this deep in your hamstrings the next day, especially the first few times you do them. Start light, maybe 15 to 25 pounds, and focus on that hip hinge pattern. Don't round your back, keep your spine neutral throughout. The stretch you feel in your hamstring at the bottom is where the magic happens. That lengthened position under load is what builds muscle and strength. Do these twice per week on your lower body days and your hamstrings and glutes will transform. Okay, now we're getting a little bit more obscure. So I don't think I've seen many people do this one outside of serious athletes and physical therapists. It's wall lean tibialis raises, and they're amazing for shin strength and ankle health. First, I should explain why I like them so much. It's really because this is one of the only ways to strengthen your tibialis anterior, the muscle on the front of your shin, through its full range of motion with proper resistance. When you do regular tibialis raises sitting down with a band, you get some resistance, but the angle isn't optimal. With wall lean tibialis raises, you lean back against a wall at an angle which loads your shins through gravity in a way that creates incredible tension. This isolates your tibialis anterior perfectly and builds shin strength that prevents shin splints, improves ankle stability, and fixes that shuffling gait that many people develop as they age. The technique is pretty simple but feels strange at first. Stand facing away from a wall with your heels about 12 to 18 inches away from the wall. Lean back so your shoulders and upper back rest against the wall. Your body should form a straight line from your shoulders to your heels, angled back from the vertical. In this position, gravity wants to pull your toes down toward the ground. Now fight against gravity by pulling your toes up toward your shins as hard as you can. Hold that dorsiflex position for a second, then slowly lower your toes back down. The key is the angle. By leaning back, you're using your body weight as resistance against your shin muscles. The farther you lean back, the harder it gets. Most people should start with a moderate lean where their body is at about a 60 to 70 degree angle from the ground. Do 15 to 20 reps, really focusing on pulling your toes up as high as possible on each rep. You should feel an intense burn in the front of your shins. Now, if you don't have a wall, you can do a similar movement by sitting back in a deep squat position and doing tibialis raises from there. Though the wall lean version is superior for isolating the muscle. And if you want to make it harder, lean back farther from the wall or hold a weight plate against your chest to increase the resistance. It's not that I think this movement is going to suddenly transform your entire physique, but I do think if you're completely missing tibialis training and you get shin splints, have weak ankles, or notice your toes dragging when you walk, you're probably leaving significant lower leg health on the table. So try these out. Let me know what you think. Actually, the first time I did these properly, my shins were so sore I could barely walk downstairs normally for 2 days. So don't say I didn't warn you. Start with just 1 or 2 sets and build up gradually. Your shins need time to adapt to direct training since they've probably been neglected for years. On top of that, your ankles will become noticeably more stable because a strong tibialis anterior controls how your foot lowers to the ground with each step. You also reduce your risk of tripping and falling because this muscle is responsible for lifting your toes up when you walk, preventing that shuffle. Do these twice per week, either at the end of your leg workouts or as a standalone quick session. Within a month, your shins will be visibly more developed. Your ankles will feel rock solid, and any shin splint issues you had will likely be gone. The wall lean version is superior to seated band variations because the angle of resistance matches the muscle's function perfectly. Now, before I show you the 5th and final exercise, let me address something important. If you're dealing with chronic aches and pains, stiff joints, or you feel like your body just doesn't move the way it used to, you're not alone. Most people think they're stuck with these problems forever. But what if there was a simple step-by-step system that could help you move pain-free again? I created Reboot Your Body specifically for people struggling with these exact issues. It's a 30-day program designed to restore the movement and strength you've lost, so you can play with your kids or grandkids, get through your day without constant aching, and feel confident in your body again. Imagine waking up without that stiff back, climbing stairs without knee pain, and moving through life the way you're supposed to. The link is in the description below if you want to check it out. Alright, this last exercise is something almost nobody does, but it's one of the best movements for building bulletproof knees and massive quads. It's reverse Nordic curls, and I call them quad armor. This is a classic movement in knee rehabilitation and advanced strength training, and it was actually a staple in old school athletic training before everyone started only focusing on leg presses and squats. They'll hit your quadriceps, specifically your rectus femoris and vastus muscles, in a lengthened position that no other exercise can match. Most people completely neglect training their quads in this stretched position, which leaves them vulnerable to knee injuries and quad strains. Your quads get worked in shortened positions from squats and leg extensions, but they stay weak in the lengthened ranges. This imbalance is one of the main causes of knee problems, quad tears, and that feeling of instability when your knee bends deeply. Actually, the first time I did these with any real intention, my quads were so sore I could barely sit down or stand up from a chair for 4 days. So don't say I didn't warn you. These create soreness unlike anything you've ever experienced. On top of that, your knees become dramatically more resilient because you're strengthening all the connective tissues and muscles around your knee joint through ranges they've never experienced. You also build the kind of quad development that creates that sweep and thickness that makes your legs look impressive. For the technique, start on your knees on a padded surface like a mat or carpet. Your body should form a straight line from your head to your knees. Now, keeping your hips extended and your body straight, slowly lean back by letting your knees bend. Your quads have to work eccentrically to control this backward lean. Go back as far as you can control, usually just a few inches at first. Then use your quads to pull yourself back up to the starting position. The key is keeping your body straight. Don't break at the hips, your knees are the only joints that should bend. This is incredibly difficult, and most people can only lean back a few inches when they first try. That's completely normal. You're working your quads in a range they've never trained. Use your hands behind you to catch yourself when you can't control the movement anymore, then push off lightly to help yourself back up. Do 3 sets of 5 to 8 reps, focusing on controlled movement and going as far back as you can safely manage. Each week, try to lean back 1 inch farther before needing to catch yourself. Over months of consistent practice, you'll be able to lean back until your hamstrings touch your calves, which represents complete knee flexion. At that point, you can add weight by holding a plate to your chest. The reverse Nordic curl is legendary in sports performance training for building knee resilience and quad strength. It looks deceptively simple, but holding your body straight while leaning back with only your quads will have them burning and shaking within seconds. That intense contraction in a lengthened position is what builds incredible quad development and bulletproof knees. Research shows that eccentric training in stretched positions produces some of the highest rates of muscle growth and tendon strengthening. If this is too hard initially, you can use a resistance band anchored in front of you to provide some assistance, or you can place your hands on a bench behind you and use them to control the descent. The goal is to eventually do them completely unassisted, but even assisted reverse Nordic curls will build tremendous quad strength. Okay, this wraps up the 5 most underrated leg exercises that can completely change your body. Let me give you a simple way to program these into your training. You don't need to do all 5 in one workout. That would absolutely destroy your legs and make walking impossible for a week. Instead, spread them strategically throughout your training week. Add kitchen counter ballerina split squats to your routine, 3 to 4 times per week. Since they use minimal weight and you have the counter for support, they're easy to do daily. Do them in the morning while your coffee brews. 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps per leg. These will dramatically improve your knee health and mobility over time. The daily frequency is key because you're training movement patterns and knee strength, not just building muscle. Include sliding hamstring curls on your main lower body training days. Do them after your squats or deadlifts. 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps. These will build your hamstring strength through both knee flexion and hip extension. Your hamstrings will be screaming by the end, but within weeks, you'll notice better development and 0 hamstring tightness. Do kickstand RDLs twice per week on your leg days. These work great as your main hip hinge movement or as an accessory after squats. 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps per leg with moderate weight. Focus on that deep hamstring stretch at the bottom and the powerful glute squeeze at the top. Your posterior chain will transform from these. Add wall lean tibialis. Raises twice per week, either at the end of your leg workouts or as a standalone quick session. 3 sets of 15 to 20 reps. These take less than 5 minutes but will bulletproof your shins and ankles. Do them consistently and shin splints will become a thing of the past. Finally, do reverse Nordic curls once or twice per week, but never on back-to-back days. They create so much muscle damage that your quads need several days to recover. Start with 2 or 3 sets of 5 to 8 reps, focusing on controlled movement through whatever range you can handle. These are brutally hard but incredibly effective. Progress slowly by leaning back 1 inch farther each week. These 5 underrated leg exercises might just be the missing pieces your training has desperately needed all along. Start with the movements that match your current ability level. Don't try to do everything at once. Master 1 or 2, then add another. Your legs will thank you, and 6 months from now, you'll wonder why you waited so long to start.